Hey, how's it going? So in this video, I'm going to walk through how we took a THC drink marketplace from just 5 clicks a day to over 80 clicks a day in about 4 months. So before I get into the strategy, I want to kind of go over the results. So we started early to mid September, and then we did a 3-month sprint through the end of November. So September, October, November, 3-month sprint. As you can see, it took some time for it to get going, but once it began to grow, it really took off sort of in December, and we saw sort of the peak in late December and into January as well. And so yeah, when we started, just like 5 clicks a day, basically no traffic, no nothing. But once we really got into it, we were able to get them up to 80 clicks a day in about 4 months. So overall, not a ton of traffic, but given the work that was done and given the time scale and the fact that it was basically a new domain or a new brand, this is a nice early win for the client. So before I dive into the strategy and kind of the different components and what we did for the client, I want to kind of talk about sort of our approach. So what most brands do that I see in e-commerce and in CBD and hemp and all those sorts of niches is they put tactics before strategy. So they put they put the cart before the horse. And so they'll say, all right, let's do 5 blog posts and 5 links a month, right? Maybe it's the SEO agency with the idea, maybe it's the client that has that idea. Either way, they kind of start with a certain number of deliverables every single month instead of thinking about their ICP first. So that's not an SEO strategy. What you want to do instead is focus on your ideal customer profile, or actually you're going to have multiple that you're focusing on. Figure out how they're searching, and then you can figure out what pages do we need to build and what links do we need to build in order to get in order to rank for those keywords, get in front of them, right? And that's how you can actually make money with SEO instead of just getting traffic, right? Blogs and links, just kind of scattershot, will get you traffic, but unless you have a really good strategy in place for getting in front of your target customer, you're not going to make much money from your SEO. So with that being said, our client is a THC drink marketplace. They sell online and they ship nationwide. And so we focused on kind of 3 main parts of the customer journey, or you could say 3 main customer types. The first one is kind of the most important, which is people who are looking to buy THC drinks online. So people who are literally looking for and searching for the product that our client sells, right? Second one is people who are looking to buy THC drinks near them, right? So people looking for THC drinks near me, they want to go to a store nearby, but our client can still serve them if we can kind of redirect them to online shopping versus in-store shopping. And the third ICP we focused on was people who are looking to compare popular THC drink brands, right? Obviously, it's a very, it's an exploding space. It's a very popular space, ton of big brands and great brands in the space. And people are always looking to compare those. And so we can kind of, get in front of those people and put our hat in the ring and show why we're a good option as well. So yeah, the bottom line is people who fit these descriptions are people who will actually buy from us, right? They're actually ready to buy THC drinks. They're actually interested in our products. And so if we can get in front of them with SEO, we'll definitely make some money. So with that being said, the first main part of our strategy is category pages. So in other words, this ICP is people who are already looking to buy THC drinks online, right? So they're ready to buy product. They're looking for things like, they're typing things like THC drinks or THC drinks for sleep, right? Buying focused queries. So the best way to rank for these kind of keywords is to build a category page. So a category page, right, will display all the products you have, right? Whereas a single product page will just be a single product, right? And so for these kind of category buying intent keywords, the category page, format outperforms the product page because people want many options at once. They want to be able to kind of peruse all you have to offer, pick one, and then, go ahead and buy, right? And so for that reason, this is sort of the dominant page format. That's where this tactic comes into play. Kind of the page structure here, right, is you're going to have an H1, you're going to have a short description, kind of briefly introducing the category. You're going to have all your products down below that, and then you're going to have a long description going more in depth on the category, selling your products, talking about the different benefits the category offers, right? So for THC drinks for sleep, we might discuss, we have the best selection, we have, therapeutic, we have cannabinoid blends in the drinks that are specifically designed for sleep. Maybe the last section is our lab testing and how we create products that are actually, safe to consume, that are verified. So therefore you can feel good about using them for sleep, as an example, right? And so for our client, right, they're a marketplace. They sell a variety of THC drinks, including sodas, mocktails, even energy drinks. And they also sell a variety of strengths, as well as cannabinoid blends. And they sell drinks that are good for different use cases. So we built out a ton of different category pages, probably about 20 in total. And so some of the keywords we targeted were like THC soda, they sell that, THC root beer, THC mocktails, THC drinks for sleep, and then also different strength-based THC drink categories. Basically, we're thinking about like every keyword, every category keyword someone can search to look for our products. We want to have a unique category page for that keyword. That gives us the best shot at ranking. And then the next thing we did was the next ICP, in other words, we focused on is people who are looking to buy THC drinks near them. So we're trying to rank for searches like THC drinks near me, as well as like a city-based search like THC drinks Atlanta. So to rank for these keywords, what we did was build location pages. On these pages, what you're going to have is your H1, your title, a short description, some products. Then you're going to have location-specific content, promotional content, and then also some FAQs and answers. One note here, which doesn't really apply to our client, but something that is important, is that if you have or if you sell products in retail stores, but you don't actually have a physical store, adding a store locator on these location pages is something you'll want to do, right? Because you'll want to be able to redirect people from the page to the stores that actually sell your products, and that way you can funnel the demand from online to in store. Although in this case, our client sells only online. And so the entire idea here is just to try to convince people to buy online instead of buying in store, even though the intent here is to buy, shop near me, shop in stores. And like I said, right, this strategy totally works without a physical location, right? Location pages are kind of commonly a tactic pulled from local SEO, right? They're kind of one of the main parts of local SEO, trying to get local visibility for local businesses. But in this case, we kind of stole that tactic and use it for online instead, and it works like a charm. So for our client, what we did was, number one, we built out pages for every single state that they ship to. So we built 40 pages in total, about 40 pages. Obviously, some states they can't ship to due to legal restrictions. So yeah, we built a page for each, right? THC drinks Texas, THC drinks, Georgia, and so on, right? Then what we did was we built out pages for key cities in key states. So we thought about which states are sort of the biggest THC drink markets, where's the culture the strongest, which states have the most people in them, all that kind of thing. And then we thought about within those states, what are the cities that, again, have the most THC drink consumers, have the biggest cannabis culture, have the most people. All those factors kind of played into picking the cities that we built pages for. So yeah, we built pages for the state and the city level. And then what we did was, after we built the pages, we went ahead and internally linked them. And this is very, very important because it helps your pages to all get indexed, well, actually crawled, indexed, and then rank, hopefully, on Google. So the way we did this was we built a page for THC drinks near me, kind of just like a general page. It doesn't really rank for anything. It doesn't really have a purpose for SEO, apart from being able to link to that page in our footer. That page then links to state pages. These state pages then link to other state pages. So by region, right? So, states in the, the Midwest or in the East Coast or on the East Coast, right? And then from there, right, we linked our state pages to city pages. So all the cities within each state, we're going to link to those pages on that state page. And then at the city page level, we link cities to other cities. So, we also sell drinks in other cities within Georgia, including City 1, City 2, City 3, that kind of thing. In that way, we created a pretty complex hierarchy here that allowed every single city page to get at least like 3 or 4 internal links, and everything is connected to the homepage, right? So homepage, near me page, and then from there you have state and city. And this is very important to get right because again, when you're launching, like 100 pages of content, bulk publishing, in other words, internal linking is super important in order to get crawled and indexed and have a shot at ranking. Also, one thing to mention here before I move on here is the importance of unique content. So what we did for these pages is we actually had sections of content that would be unique based on the state or city. So for the states, we would have information about legality. We had information about why people in the state love THC drinks, right? And obviously by state, we can give different details about legality. We can talk about when it was legalized, or how it's legal, or the current legal climate surrounding THC drinks in that state. Likewise, for cities, what we did was we talked a lot about, number one, why THC drinks are popular in that city. So we talked about the culture of the city and sort of how THC drinks tie into life in that city. So if there are any, recreational activities in the city that are popular, if there are favorite pastimes, favorite attractions, you kind of talk about how THC drinks can complement those things. And that way, again, the content is uniquely valuable to readers in that city. We also, for the city pages, we also had sections for where to buy THC drinks in that city. And what we did was pull in specific locations for each city. So, for example, we might have a section about where to buy THC drinks in Atlanta. Number one, CBD stores. And we list like 3 or 4 CBD stores actually in Atlanta. Number two, local retailers, specialty retailers, right? And again, talking about which specialty retailers in Atlanta actually cover or actually sell THC drinks, right? So yeah, the key there is to have unique content. You can't just have like a page template and copy it 100 times, or in this case, 60 times for each city, and just change up the keyword. It's not going to work. Okay, so the next major thing we did, or the third sort of content action that we engaged in, is blog posts, and this is to target the ICP of people who are researching and comparing THC drink brands. So in this case, we're trying to rank for keywords like Breeze versus Hio, or Breeze alternatives, right? Breeze is a very big THC drink brand. Hio is not a THC drink brand. They're actually a sort of like a social tonic brand. They don't have any THC in them, but they're commonly compared to THC drink brands because their ICP is very similar, right? So the idea here is to kind of throw our hat in the ring. People are already comparing these brands, and they're already sort of open to having their minds changed. They're trying to figure out who's the best. They're already looking up, best, right? That's another kind of query type we targeted. And so why not write an article comparing those two brands, and then we say, okay, and we're the third option. We're a third option that is better in these ways, right? Whereas brand A and brand B excel here and here, we excel in this way. And yeah, ultimately, right, targeting bottom of funnel keywords is critical with blog posts because that's what drives revenue, right? A lot of blogs, again, or a lot of brands will blog and it'll be kind of a time waster and a money waster. They'll be focusing on informational keywords, right? About like, what are THC drinks, or how do THC drinks make me feel, right? But those are very, very top of funnel keywords. They don't indicate someone wants to buy from you. And so this is how you can make blogging actually profitable, right? So with that said, it was just a small part of the sprint. So we just wrote 4 blog posts, but we used the brand versus brand and brand alternatives formats for these posts. And yeah, when it comes to writing about your competitors, right, you're not here to have a smear campaign. Instead, you want to be honest about where you're better and where your competitors are better, right? You're not going to be the best at everything, but also you probably will have some unique differentiators over your competition. And so that's kind of how you will want to focus these blog posts. Because I've had plenty of founders kind of concerned with me about is it really a good idea to write about our competitors? I don't want to make any claims about them that I can't back up. But again, we're just talking about facts. We're comparing facts. We're not giving any subjective opinions about which brand's better. We're just saying brand A does this, brand B does this, we do this, and for that reason, you might choose us over them, Um, and yeah, one example of a kind of a structure for the brand versus brand format is comparison table at the top. Then you have an overview section for each brand. So brand A overview, brand B overview, and then brand C, which is going to be us, have an overview for them. And then you want to have a comparison section talking about how the brands compare on key dimensions. So for THC drinks, in this case, it might be, strengths, lab testing, shipping, um, flavors, right? Kind of talk about how all three brands compare, including you, on those dimensions. That's where you really go in depth about how you may be better than other brands on a certain dimension, and then you finish it off with conclusion and FAQs. All right, so that's kind of all the content stuff, all the sort of what we did for the client to get them more visible with their ICPs. The ICPs would actually buy from them. Final thing we did was build some links. So link building in general is very important in SEO because it's not just about the quality of your content; it's about how authoritative your website is. Getting a link sort of like getting a vote from another site, right? So when someone links to you, they're voting for your authoritativeness, your trustworthiness, right? And so building links will never go out of style in SEO. I'm convinced, and it's always valuable. But in this case, with a 3-month sprint and with a smaller budget, we can't really build their DR or their domain rating that much. We can't increase their authority by that much. What we can do, though, is build a few high quality links that will help put them on the map and get Google to recognize their existence as a unique brand, as a unique entity. And that'll make indexing of pages very, a lot easier. And then from there, it's, having the right content strategy enables you to rank, right? But still, the link building is valuable. So we built 2 main link types. The first link type is a link insertion. So it's just a link in a relevant page with traffic. So you find a site that has content about or related to your brand, and you ask them to link to your site, basically, right? For Parasite SEO, what that is in this case, it's we got mentions, or we asked for content insertions into high-ranking listicles. So a listicle is a list article. In this case, we're talking about articles about topics like best THC drinks or best THC drinks for sleep, right? Articles that are already ranking for valuable keywords, right? We're asking sites with those articles on them, if you could please add our brand, we'll pay you, right? So that's kind of a process, right? Number 1, custom outreach about or outreach to sites with relevant content or listicles, and then offer payment. And then we send them a quick proposal showing them where we want the link placed, or if it's a Parasite SEO placement, give them the content for our brand, right? So yeah, that's kind of a bit of about our link building process, and then also kind of why link building is important. So yeah, like I said, just 4 links for the brand, but still it was valuable and it helped with our campaign here. All right, that's it. Hopefully I didn't talk too fast, but yeah, overall, in 3 months, we took a brand from in one of the fastest growing sectors of the cannabis industry, from being invisible and having 0 online customer acquisition to receiving nearly 1,000 clicks a month from organic search. And we did that by building a strategy based on actual buyer behavior and then executing relentlessly for 3 months straight. Now, look, if you have a cannabis and hemp brand and want results like this, book a call with me down below. There's a link in the description. Otherwise, I hope the case study was informative and it helps you out. And if you have any questions, leave a comment below. I'm happy to answer. And thank you for watching. Bye.